right, everybody. I'm introducing my guest today, Peter Weiner. This is a first for me, a 4-time Emmy Award winner. That's pretty cool. And he has an extensive background in television production. He is also a successful business coach and a business owner, like us. So most recently, he combined all these skills to create a perfect storm with his new company, PKW Medias Solutions. Entrepreneurs, hold on to your hats, because what you're about to hear will transform the way you do your business. So, Peter, tell me, I help people look good in terms of what they wear, but you help them look good in their message and camera and how to use media.
Right.
Tell me how you do that.
Well, I think the place you want to start, and by the way, thank you for that intro. That was awesome. I appreciate that. I think it really starts with the story and people really understanding what their story is, who they are, and how they want to come off. So when I work with people, say as a consultant, or if they're taking a workshop with me, the first place we look is where, pretty much anyone looks that's starting a business and trying to get their legs and understand why they're doing what they do and who they are. You need to find your core values, build your action steps, all that stuff, so you can create a story that's both in sync with you and in sync with what you want your company to do. And if you're doing the right thing, if you're the right person for the company you're creating, then you are that, and it's not that difficult. What happens a lot of the time, people will say, "Oh, gee, why am I doing this for a living? I never looked at it this deeply." But usually they make a connection, and then from there it's coming up with the story. What's your story? What makes you unique? Why do people want to work with you? Because chances are there's 1,000 people out there that do what you do. Why do they want to work with you in doing that thing? And that has a lot to do with the story. So that's really the starting point as far as content goes.
Right. So how do you take somebody who, like somebody like me? I have content everywhere, YouTube and Instagram, and I'm all over the place.
Right.
And I'm working myself on focusing more and more about a consistent message. But how do you take what somebody has and make it become something useful?
That's an excellent question. And that's a question I ask myself every day, because it really depends on what you have. But yeah, there is an overload right now. And I find that one of the biggest problems that people have as business owners and even, solopreneurs and so forth is that, there's all these different platforms. So I believe it comes down to having good content first, and then you can decide what you want to do with that content. So when I create content for people, I generally think in terms of what is the longest piece going to be? What is the biggest, most elaborate piece of media that you create? What's that going to look like? And where I like to start is with, kind of almost a biography or a featurette, where it's kind of an overview of who that person is and why they're an expert at what they do and why they have a passion for what they do. And then we'll get into shooting some product stuff or service stuff that's a little more specific and could lead to calls to action. But essentially, out of a single production day, you could get 6 months worth of stuff, and even more, because if it was the truth then, it's going to be the truth later. So this is where the 4 Emmys come in. I'm pretty good at taking what I have and making something polished and interesting, not overly glossy or crazy, just so it looks professional, and so it represents who you are. And the way I view that when I'm working with a business owner or an entrepreneur is that we are both producers, especially when it comes to the shooting part, or the gathering the footage, gathering the information part. We're both producers. We're both creating the vision. And then it kind of goes to me, and I make it look good and run it by. But in answer to your question, it really depends what your strategy is. So, for social media, I recommend very quick, almost ads for getting the person to the longer story. And then the longer story usually lives on a landing page, or possibly it can be a link that you send out on your email list, or it can be actually your website. And what I'm working on now is actually adding an interactive element to that. So when you're on the video, you can actually click on a portion of the video and it'll take you to the link that you want to go to. So I think that's really handy for business owners and entrepreneurs, because you don't have to worry about the fall off. So I know that was a long answer to a short question.
No, I am fascinated with the fact that you can have an actual working link on a video.
Yeah.
That I find. I did not know that was possible. It's very interesting to me because otherwise you're like me, you're clicking away at something when nothing's happening. It's very cool. I don't know how you do that, but that's very cool.
Yeah, well, I didn't design it, but thankfully I know someone that did, and I have access to that technology, and I think it's gonna be a game changer. And
Yeah.
I kind of have a vision, and I don't know how realistic that vision is, but my vision is that there'll just be this experience where you're in a video and you're just following a story, and you're not thinking about, oh, now I'm on social, and now I'm on a website, and now I'm on a landing page. Now you're just in the video, you're following the story, you're interested in that person, you become interested in that service, you hear the story about that, and then it's just easy. You just have the option. Do you want to have a conference with that person? Do you want consultation? Do you want to buy the product? Do you want to see more about that product? You just don't have to think about, making a hard decision or where you want to go. It's just right there. And I think especially with Gen Z and millennials to a large extent, they really just don't have the patience to look for a link. My daughter's 25, and I talk to her about this all the time. I'm like, well, you were thinking about getting this thing. How come you didn't get it? I was like, well, then I had to go to the website, and I really wasn't in the mood by then. And it fall off happens very quickly. Unfortunately, we have a very short attention span. So you need the thing that's really going to captivate people, and then you need to make it easy for them. And I just feel like it's doing a favor to both sides to figure out what that technology is. So that's kind of where things are going with me right now, which is very different from television, where I just hand it over half an hour every week and then we'd see what happened, right? Now it's very specific, it's very custom. And then there's your end of it. People need to look good. They need to have the right colors, right? They need to have the confidence when they're in front of the camera.
Yeah, a lot of times, and I'm sure you come up with this, not come up with it, but face this, that people I know I have to be on camera. I know I have to be on video, because you really do these days. This is it. No one's going to read about you as much as they are going to look and listen to you. Right. Plus, as you know, it helps people get to know you better. They more the trust factor, right? But there are a lot of people who are like, well, I'm not ready yet because I want to lose some weight, or I want to get, wait till this is done, or something's fixed about themselves. And then what you wear is really, really important, because my belief is that if a person is wearing clothes that make them look good, make them feel good, make them feel confident, they don't think about this, and they get out of here and they can start talking.
Right.
And it really capture them, as opposed to somebody who's constantly fidgeting with their clothes because something's going to pop, or it's too tight.
Well, wrinkles, I better do this. Right.
Yeah, the wrinkles, or women have a tendency to do this a lot with jackets, keep trying to close them. It's all, unconsciously, but it's keeping them from really looking confident and feeling confident. And it keeps the message it doesn't come out as well, Yeah. So
that's so true. I'm always afraid that what I'm wearing is too boring. So I kind of compensate and always try to have some colors, depending on what I'm doing. And if I have some kind of bright, cool color on, if it's not too out there, that's kind of my comfort zone. I never really thought about it, but I think so. I think when I'm wearing something like this, I feel pretty good, because at least it's not a white shirt and a black tie, or
right. It's and it works, and the color works for you. And that's the thing about colors. I don't know if you have this, if you come across this when you're doing your work, but some colors can make people look yellow or gray, or older or sicker. And some colors can just make you look like healthy, or like you were on a vacation, or so I'm sure if you have to do a lot less correcting if somebody's wearing a color that's flattering, because even the teeth and the eyes can look yellow in the wrong color, which is that's really bad.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, give me an example of a client that what happened, like the before they had material with you and then after? I'm
sure.
curious.
Yeah, there's a couple. So there's an artist that I'm working with, and she's in Maryland, and she was doing okay. She got through COVID, and she promoted herself well enough to get through COVID. And she's a music teacher also, so she kind of she teaches some music online, but she has a studio, and she does e-commerce with her art. It's kind of like mosaic folk art type stuff, a lot of kind of 3D looking pictures and some sculptures with some cool varying sizes and varying shapes. Her canvases aren't square canvases or rectangular. So she's very creative in what she does. So she was doing pretty well, but she, it's tough to make a living, making these things that take a while and having a price point that isn't necessarily sustainable. So we did a bio with her. I was out in Maryland and I shot her, and we just went to her studio and talked about different pieces, talked about her philosophies, about her ecological philosophies, her philosophies towards home and animals and things like that. Things you wouldn't normally talk about, but that was who she was. And her art supported what she was talking about. So the first thing that I did when I got home is I put together like a 4.5, 5 minute bio that showcased her art, showcased her studio, showcased her and everything she was talking about. And now she's getting commissions from the county. She's getting people are ordering very specific things for a much higher price point. So her overall yearly income has gone up a lot. I don't know by what percentage, at least 50%, maybe doubled, I'm not sure. But her workflow is just so much better for her. She's talking to the clients she wants to talk to. She's running into the people that get her. So not only is she making more money, she's just having a better experience overall, because people, she has a little bit of celebrity. People feel they know her after seeing her video. And that's the long one. And then the short ones are just kind of things that she can post and that she can update. And she's actually really good. She's a great client of mine because she's really great about posting her material. A lot of the things that happen, a lot of the mistake people make, like with anything, they think that something the new squirrel that they chase is going to be the magic bullet, and is going to be the thing that once they do this, they don't have to do anything. Well, that's not true of anything, and it's certainly not true of video and media and content. You certainly need to know when to use it and how to use it. And part of what I do is that strategizing. So it's not just, okay, now I have all these videos. What do I do with them? It's like, okay, well, where's your biggest following? What product do you want to sell? What service do you want to sell? What's going to make you the most amount of money? What's going to give you the most amount of joy? We go through all of that stuff. So it's not just, okay, now I have all this video. Now my relationship with this guy's done. He cut these videos. I like them, but I have no idea what to do with them. And you know what ends up happening? You end up not doing anything with them. And it's really important that you understand the strategy and that you have the team, or at least the people you can work with, that really understand how to leverage it on social and how to consistently do it. And my answer to that, or one of my answers to that, is get the confidence to make videos yourself that you feel are good enough for you to constantly post, that are high enough quality, that have enough content, where if nobody else is there to help you, or you can't hire a production company, or you can't hire someone with 4 Emmys to cut it for you, that you still have a strong enough idea, and you have the habit of posting regularly and representing who you are and representing who your company is, so you can draw the right clients.
Right.
This isn't new information, but it's kind of important to bring that to light.
No, I mean, some of the best advice is the oldest advice. It's only good if you use it.
Right. It's true. It's true. And it breaks my heart when there's this video that everyone liked. I like it. They like it. People that see it like it. And then it just, nothing more happens with it. And there's, if you're strategic about the way you shoot things, you can have a very long shelf life. You can get a lot of mileage out of video, and you can cut out a lot of one-to-ones by reaching a lot of people at once. I know, I get one-to-one burnout, where it's like, I don't want to have to explain this to 100 people 100 times. I want to explain this to 100 people one time. Right. And that's, and I will mention, Scarlett and I are in a group where we're connecting with people that speak. And, it's always beneficial to get up in front of a group of people and speak and let them know what you do. And video really serves the same purpose. It's about reaching as many people as possible and having control of the product, having control of what they're seeing and being satisfied with it.
Right.
So camera shy is a huge, huge issue. And I think that's where our careers overlap, Scarlett. I think when you give people that confidence, when they're happy with what, they're not messing with their sweater, they're not They're not worried about being overexposed or
Right.
underexposed or boring or too
Right.
flamboyant or whatever their thing is, or men can't wear pink or, all those things.
Not true.
Not true. I
No,
know.
I always say that if you are feeling confident, there you're going to be looking confident, and you are then sending the message to others that they can be confident in you solving the problem that they're hiring you for.
Right.
You know, so yeah, so it's a package deal. It's not always just one part of what we do to have a
Right.
successful business. It's a lot. And I'm curious, how do you're working virtually, right? You're taking video that somebody already has, and
I
or
do
you
both. I do both. So I'm in Utah. I'm in northern Utah. I'm in the Salt Lake City area. So um, my production clients are local, because obviously, unless somebody has a very big budget, they're not going to fly me out. Now, if I'm working with a big corporation, that's a different story. But if I'm working with individual entrepreneurs, individual business owners, what I will do is I'll consult them and I'll let them know what they can do, what footage they have. And the reality is, right now in this time in history, everybody has tens of thousands of videos, well, tens of thousands of photos, and probably at least several hundred videos, 10, 15 of which might actually be usable. But all that stuff already exists, and you know how to do it. And it's all in HD and it all works. So yes, I can absolutely put things together as far as working with stuff you already have. I do recommend maybe one day shooting some professional stuff, like a nice interview or something like that. I've even done things on Zoom. I've even recorded people on Zoom for their main interview, and had control of the lights in the background because I could see it. I could direct. I'm a horrible example today. My lighting's a little bright, but anyway, but yeah, I can have it look really good. And so that's how I would work remotely. I would
yeah.
say consulting, or through the workshops that I teach, to give you the confidence to habitually create videos that you're satisfied with and that are in alignment and in sync with your company and who you are. But out
Mm.
here, I'll do shoots, which are really fun. I love production days. So, for example, I have a client who he has stones. It's called Anderson Stones. And what he does is he actually has all the equipment in-house, literally in-house. He lives where he works. He has a big property. And he can cut the stones and make the slabs and identify them. And he has all these connections and all this knowledge, so he can get things for such a lower price than most people could. He doesn't have to go through the same red tape that most people have to go through. So essentially, he offers people like you and me slabs for way cheaper than what you'd find, in the retail world. And then if
Right.
you're a jeweler, you get amazing deals. You can buy these slabs and you can cut them up. And anyway, he's making a lot of money now, but we're getting the videos done and we're putting them out there, and it's just growing exponentially, because especially with this interactive video. So imagine somebody's talking to you and they're showing a slab and you see this stone and you're like, wow, that's cool, I want to learn more about that. And you click on it and you see all the actual samples of the stones that he has available, and you see the price. It's like, that's amazing. Click, it's on its way to you. So
Wow.
we're definitely.
I actually have I was gonna say, I have a client who makes jewelry with these beautiful stones. I want this guy's number for her.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, he works with a lot of jewelers. As a matter of fact, his wife is a jeweler. So like she has her business. She does the rock energy and the jewelry part of it. But he actually approaches the energy thing from a scientific perspective. He talks about actual frequencies, because watches run on quartz. So that's all based on real frequencies. So some of it might be a little woo-woo, but there's some science behind it. What's interesting is he kind of bridges that gap. So he's a
Yeah.
fun client. I've learned a lot, because
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot about geology
Well,
going in.
you know, actually, you're making something that's kind of boring interesting. I mean, I
Right.
would never think of stones as interesting, but yeah, it's cool. It's
Well, it's
actually
yeah,
nice.
just looking at a rock's not that interesting, but when you look at the beautiful patterns inside, and he knows exactly why. He's like, oh, 2 million years ago there was a dinosaur tooth. You get all the history behind it, which is really cool. It connects you to the
Yeah.
world. So yes, he does
Yeah.
geek out, and but we keep it interesting. We don't let it get too far.
Well, I find what you do absolutely not only fascinating, but really important, because I personally have tons of content, and it dawned on me a little while ago that I'm not even using anywhere near as much of it as I should. You know,
Right.
you forget about it. And what you're basically saying is you can breathe life into what people have already done and help direct them into what they should add on to it to make it even more interesting.
Right.
And video is the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And it can be as simple as just having all that footage that you already have, and then, kind of talking about what you have, where you want it to go, and then just doing the interview, just talking, having you talk about it and tell about yourself. And when you mention your
Right.
childhood, I have this lovely picture of you when you were 10. And yeah, it's all really nice when it's put together
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's,
And people, they'll relate better, And I'm thinking actually, in order to have a successful business, you have to be willing to be seen.
right.
And it's okay to be seen, like from your 10-year-old child picture to, not just getting deep into your work or something, but it's okay to show the whole picture, because the more dimensional we are, I think the more people will be able to relate to us and trust us, right? So,
Absolutely. No, like, and trust for sure. And the
yep,
first step is having them know you right away and having an edge, and it being personable, or whatever it is you want to put forward.
right.
But you're right. It is about being seen, and everyone deserves to be seen. And I'm hoping that in my interactions with people and in working with people, that they understand that it's worth it, and that they're worth it, and that their story and that their inner greatness and that their uniqueness is absolutely worth showing. And everybody has it. I have had the
Right.
most boring people come out and be really funny and really interesting, withdrawn. And nobody ever told them. Nobody ever said, you know what you do is kind of cool, and why you're doing it is kind of cool, and here's why. And if you don't have the opportunity to discover that and let other people know that, you're doing yourself and you're doing your potential clients a huge disservice.
You're losing money, frankly. Yeah.
Well, you are. Well, you
Yeah.
are losing. You're losing money, and you're losing the joy of being in the business that you're in. And that's a lot of it. Like, I want to have fun. I have the days I make the most amount of money, and it has nothing to do with the money, are the days that I'm having the most fun,
It's
because
great.
I'm interacting with people. We're making something that's really fun and cool. I mean, video is just cool. I don't care what anyone says. It just is. People like
Right.
watching TV. They like watching videos if they're good. But I will say this: it's not like publicity, where any publicity is good publicity. I don't believe that about video. I think bad videos are worse than no videos. I think if you're coming off the wrong way, if the quality's bad,
Yeah.
you seem like you're chasing the dollar, like all the things that put people off, that is way worse. I've seen people. I've gone on people's websites and looked at their videos, and within 4 seconds, I was like, nope. So it's really important.
What's a tip that you have to make those first 4 seconds interesting? Because it's so easy to go, oh God, no, I'm done in 4 seconds.
Yeah, I
What's
think that it varies for each person, but well, I'll go back to the artist. So the beginning of her video, it had her walking down a hall. It had kind of like some cool jazz going on. It's like, oh, there's some movement, there's some music, but very quickly got her in her seat, got her working on her art, saying who she is, what she does, and she's constantly active. She's creating something while she's talking. She's taking us around the studio and showing us. So the mood is different for everybody. But I think, like, for Anderson Stones, I know I keep going back and forth, but I've already told those stories, so it makes it easier. Anderson Stones, you see him slicing a stone in half. You see him in his yard lifting up a huge stone. It's like, what's he doing? What's that? That's kind of
right?
cool. So
So it's not so much, let me show you how. It's you're letting the visual show them, not the
right,
words.
right, and that brings up an
That's good.
excellent point, and thank you for that. Another great thing about video is you can be talking about one thing and showing another. So you can get a lot, you can get a lot of information in. You can appeal to people on an intellectual and on a visceral level at the same time.
Nice.
And if it's
Good.
positive, that's a good thing. As I said before, if it's negative, not so good.
No, positive is the way to go. Peter, how can people learn more about you, reach you? Tell them where they can find you.
Sure. Well, I'll post my my website, but the best way is my website. It's pkwmediasolutions.com. You can also get there through targetredo.com. And I have some videos up there. I have a YouTube channel. If you want to reach out, send me an email. You can do that through the website. And again, I can post all these links. In fact, I'm going to say there's a link right here, right now, because I know later I'm going to be able to put it there. So, so that's the best way is the website. And you can, all my information for my phone number, for my email, all that stuff is there.
Perfect.
A consultation is the best way to start. I do have packages that you can just jump in and get, but I don't recommend that. If you're learning about me through this, I would say go to my website and email me, and let's start interacting. I'll send you more stuff. You can click around the website as well and watch some videos there. I even have a sample of the interactive video on there if you want to take a look.
Cool. Cool. I can't wait to see what you do with this.
Oh, great. Yeah, it'll be pretty simple. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Do you have any other questions for me before we go?
Nope. I think we covered it all. I'm just going to encourage people to stop being afraid to be seen. Because if you really want to grow your business, and if you want to have more clients, and if you want to make your clients feel secure in what they're doing, you need to be on video. You need to be showing yourself as a normal person, but just be out there.
Or an accurate representation of how abnormal you are.
That's true. If you're quirky, you might as well share it. I do.
Exactly. They're gonna find out eventually. No, that's great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to doing this again.
Same here. Thank you.